Hello there, my name is Peter Thompson and this is one of my teaching DVDs. This one is about how one of my pupils reduced his scores. His highest score was 135 and in a couple of years we reduced that to his lowest score of 81. Well, that's 54 shots off, which is 3 shots per hole, which I think is quite remarkable. I'm going to show you how I did that, or how we did that. Teaching is always two people, myself, the instructor, and the pupil. And it's crucially important to me as an instructor that I get the pupil to understand the concept of what we're trying to do. Gavin was a very successful businessman, had his own company, but he struggled to play golf. Strangely, even though he was scoring very high scores, he thought his swing was okay. In his mind, his swing was fine. I've been using cameras now since 1976, and initially I thought it'd be quite good for me to see the pupils' swings, but it became very apparent to me very quickly that more important than me seeing my pupils' swings, they could see it, so their concept would change quite quickly. That was a long time ago now, and I'm still using cameras, and I guess I always will, because they allow me to show the person I'm teaching what to do based on how good golfers actually play golf. Even now, after, I don't know, 200, 300, 400, 600 years of people playing golf, the concepts for some people are still not very clear. I'm going to show you Gavin's swing on my computer screen in 2 seconds, and then I'll take you through the process I took Gavin through. Let's go and have a look. You'll find this quite fascinating, I'm sure. This is Gavin's swing after a couple of years. And this line I use all the time. It's a 10-degree tilt to the right or to the left if you're left-handed. And what I want to see at the top of the backswing is the left knee and the hip and the back more or less on that line. That's the shape of the swing. Other aspects are the outside of the right hip is inside the right heel, the left arm is dead straight, and the shaft is nowhere near parallel to the ground. So that's the shape of a golf swing, and people I teach stick to that shape. This is one of my pupils, Martin Young. He got down to +4 handicap. In fact, now being July 2018, he's just won the Justin Rose Mid-Amateur Championship. And he wins lots of competitions, and let's look at the shape. And there we have the same shape. Hip on the line, back on the line. That's the shape of the golf swing. Let's now find Gavin's first swing in his first lesson. So here's the shape. Back angle at the top of the swing, should be tilted a bit to the right, and as you can see the shoulder turn is maybe 140 degrees, the left knee's moved a long way, and that isn't going to work consistently, and hence the highest score of 135 shots. Strangely, Gavin thought that was okay, because the club is nearly parallel to the ground, and lots of people think parallel to the ground is where it should be. So that is nearly parallel to the ground, but it still isn't going to work. It just can't work. Because coming down now from that position, Gavin's now going backwards. So his head is going backwards, and the club head has gone way in front of his arm, so the ball is going to be hit upwards, or left, or flat, or thin. Same person, 2 years on. And he did practice quite a lot, very keen. Lessons most weeks. And if you're watching this DVD, you don't play a lot of golf, but you're trying to learn to play better golf, then how you do it is you change the shape of your swing, you change your concept. On the left, Gavin thought that was pretty good. What's wrong with that? Because the shaft is nearly parallel to the ground, and in many people's eyes that is important. It actually isn't. The one on the right is going to work way better, because he's now in a position to come down more correctly and hit the ball more correctly. So he's now there. Head on the line, hands leading the golf club. This one, head going backwards, club head in front of the arm, the ball can go almost anywhere. Going to the finish, and again, weight now on the right hand picture, entirely on the left side where it should be. On the left hand picture, the weight's still back towards the centre. So to change the shape of the backswing, we first of all have to change the address position. On our pupils on the Ladies European Tour, and the difference now between Liz and Gavin. Left arm club in line. If your left arm club is in line, that will push your head back to your right. If you think about that, you'll probably work it out. But if your hands are too far back, then because your hands are too far back to your right, then your head will tend to go to the left. So the idea is your left arm club should be in line, left shoulder higher than the right shoulder. That pushes your head back, and all that happens because your butt is all joined together. So you get one bit right, then lots of the bits will also be right. Having said that, get one bit wrong, and then it's all going to be slightly wrong. So because the stance is okay, we can now get the backswing right. Believe me, we spend a long time on Gavin's address position, which is 75% of the shot, and then worked on the first part of the backswing until the club is more or less parallel to the ground, and that is then another 10% of the shot. So you can see now, if I draw the 100-degree line, there's 100 100-degree line, and Liz's body is entirely behind that 100-degree line, and that means at the top of the swing she can stay behind it, whereas Gavin is now left of the line. All of this part of his body, this bit, is the wrong side of the line, so now to get the backswing right is really tricky. All behind the line, not behind the line. So the concept is stance 75%, backswing a further 20%, total 90%, 95% completed. And the gap between the hands and the head, well, there isn't one on the left. There's a nice gap between the hands and the head on the right hand one. There's a nice gap between the shaft and the head. This one there is a gap, but the shaft's gone back way, way, way too far. I draw a line now just on the butt of the club, outside the right heel. The butt of the club is the end of the club, by the way. And with Gavin, the butt of the club now is in the middle of the stance. So there's almost 2 feet difference between where the butt of the club is in those two swings. So now the starting down position is simply wrong, and it probably won't work, and it didn't. This one coming down, easy, quite easy. So that's the concept. Gavin thought his swing was pretty good on the left, and it took me a while to convince him that it possibly wasn't very good, but then he thought about the scores, and maybe if he's scoring those sort of scores, then there must be something wrong somewhere. Need to swing within the lines. I draw lines on the screen most of the time for my pupils. And I'll draw one more line on the top of the head. And this is the swing shape. Move out of these lines and you may have a problem. In between all the lines, head's gone down, nice gap between the line and the right hip, back angle pretty damn good. And this one, head left of the line, right hip right of the line, back curved quite badly because of the huge big 130, 140 degree shoulder turn. Even if you can turn your shoulders around that far, believe me, there is no point. I can show you some fantastic offers turning the shoulders 75 degrees. And that position comes from that position, and this impact position comes from that backswing. So Gavin took on board that he had to change the shape of the swing, and he did, and his scores went down by 3 shots per hole. Not every round, obviously, from a high score of 135 down to a low score of 81, 54 shots, and he was very, very pleased. So was I. Great to see it happening. I could actually show you dozens and dozens of people that I teach who've changed the shape of their swing and improved their golf accordingly. So that's Gavin. Clever guy, ran his own business, thought his swing was pretty good, but he realised quite quickly that maybe it wasn't working based purely on the scores. One of my pupils last week, 2 weeks ago, taught him for 17 years, and I've changed his swing shape quite a lot, and he had his best ever gross score at a gross 65. Taught him since he was 12, and he's now 29, and we work all the time on standing to the ball properly, holding the club properly, ball position, get everything in position, and then we can work on the swing shape. %, 20% to the top of the swing. 75, 20, 95%. On this camera angle will be the same. This is 75%, 85%, 95%. If you look on my YouTube site, there's now more than 100 DVDs on there, and you'll find some about the swing shape, some on the 100-degree line, lots on gripping, standing, aiming, etc. In fact, one of my pupils, well, not a pupil actually, he stopped me yesterday on my way back home from the driving range, and he said, "Thanks for all your DVDs on YouTube. My handicap's gone down from 24 to 17. Just by watching them," but he tapped in to the concept. The concept is the ball isn't moving, the club isn't moving, you do all the moving. You're in complete control, or not, as the case may be. Ball position, feet, left arm club in line, head behind the ball, then turn round, push your arms away, get to the top of the swing, and then that's about 95% of the shot. I hope you learned something from this. Gavin certainly did. Knocked off 3 shots per hole from his high score to his low score, so he was very, very happy. And if you can work on thinking about what you're doing rather than just trying to hit the ball, then I'm sure you'll get better. Thanks for listening. Thank you very much.